Hey, Abe.
Yes, Jared.
Do I need to be sad to be an artist? God. Another day of writing.
Oh.
So sad. But now we have to do this podcast.
I know.
That's history, babe.
Yeah, that's history, babe. And we're on socials, too. That's another thing we have to do.
All of the platforms.
All of them.
Because we didn't do it at the top the last episode.
Yeah, so now we have
Now
to.
we have
That's
to.
just another thing.
That's history, babe.
Add it to the list.
3 little words. Well, welcome everybody.
Or welcome back.
I guess.
Or welcome, because there's
There are some new ones.
There are some new ones.
And we're really glad to have you.
Hi,
We're excited to
welcome.
have you here.
We hit 500 subscribers, which is huge.
Which is great for us.
Thank you so much.
Because we started from nothing. We started from the bottom. Now we're here.
And this show does not endorse
Endorse Drake.
Drake.
No, we don't like Drake. We don't listen to Drake. I haven't
No.
listened to Drake since 2014.
I'm famously anti-Drake and pro-Kendrick.
I'm
And-
anti-Canada as well.
And even you are.
I am.
You're a self-hating Canadian.
Yeah, I'm a, tried and true self-hating Canadian. Yes. Have been for many years.
Quebec.
Quebecois.
Quebecois.
Although I found out recently that I think the cutoff is like you have to be 4 generations removed from a Canadian immigrant to apply for citizenship.
Really?
And I think I make the cutoff.
Oh my God.
So I think
they wouldn't let you in.
Can you imagine me
I would
romping
wrestle
into Canada?
I would wrestle that passport from your cold dead hands. I'd be like, give it to me.
I'd be like,
I was obsessed with Degrassi when I was a kid.
I have come home.
Tegan and Sarah.
I don't even know what Tegan and Sarah is.
What the fuck? You don't know who Tegan and Sarah are?
I'm going to move to Canada with no knowledge of
Jared,
Canadian culture
They
at
are
all.
so Okay, you know that Everything is Awesome from the Lego movie?
Everything is awesome.
Tegan and Sarah did that. But
Oh.
Tegan and Sarah, long before, have a long career in independent music, indie rock.
Okay.
They're twins, they're lesbians, and they're Canadian.
Twins, lesbians, and Canadian. Are they identical twins?
Identical twins. I can tell the difference because I'm a real fan.
Holy shit.
But
that's incredible.
They're Canadian. I used to listen to this like Canadian XM radio station called The Verge, which was about like Canadian indie music.
The Verge?
The Verge. Like it's on The Verge.
The Blend.
Yeah. Oh, I love The Blend.
That's my mom's favorite.
Oh, I love The Blend.
You're listening to The Blend.
But anyways, I would listen to The Verge. I was like 11 years old and I like got on Tumblr and I was like obsessed with Canada. I loved Degrassi and I was like, fully, I'm going to move to Toronto. I was like, me? Everyone's like, I want to go to New York. I was like, I don't give a fuck about New York.
I want to go to fucking Toronto.
Toronto is where it's happening.
I'm going to Hamilton, Ontario is where I'm going.
Period. I don't know what I just was like, fuck yeah, I love Canada.
Windsor, Ontario, here I come.
On my way. Saskatchewan?
I kind of love Toronto.
I heard there's a void left by Tate McRae and I'm going to fill it.
I love Toronto because it's like an American.
I've never been.
You've never been?
No.
I went once.
I went to Canada once when I was like 4 days old.
Toronto's a great city. It's like you kind of feel like you're still in America, except everybody has healthcare. So it's, it's pretty great.
That's
I enjoy Toronto.
Well,
Toronto, you're great. Montreal, I enjoy you as well.
Montreal is the seat of the indie
I just
music
said some
scene.
great American cities.
Some great Canadian cities. Shout out if you're from
Sorry,
Canada.
we love you, Canada.
Well, I do. Jared doesn't, but he is you.
I'm more Canadian than
So are you going to get your Canadian passport?
I think I might make a try at it. I don't know.
Oh my God. I'd be so mad at you. But then,
It would just be a great backup
But then
plan.
when we get married, which is our other backup plan.
Right. And that's actually,
I can be Canadian by marriage.
We're kind of married today in this episode too, but we're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
So the reason, well, first of all, let me explain why I'm in shorts, because that doesn't have anything to do with this episode. I'm in shorts today, and I'm forcing you to look at my wispy white, porcelain white.
He has very delicate ankles.
My legs and my ballerina ankles.
Ballerina ankles. Put that
because today. It was like 96 degrees in New York.
Ooh.
It was literally the hottest.
It's a hot one today in New York.
I'm pretty sure we broke some records today because of
Probably,
how hot it was.
yeah.
It was hotter today in New York than it was in Miami, which is where Claudia currently is because she hates us and it neglects her job.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, but I'm wearing this mustache
It was hotter in New York than Miami today?
Yeah, it was. We're so fucked. We are so fucked.
Okay.
Keep
going.
But I'm wearing this mustache because today we're going to talk about a really, really important American artist.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who I admire deeply.
Someone who, when Jared said, I'm talking about this person, I said, who is that?
Who is that? I have no idea who that is. And so today we're going to talk about the storied playwright Eugene O'Neill, the only American dramatist to win the Nobel Prize in Literature.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
True story.
And I am his wife, Carlotta Monterey.
And
His third and final wife.
She did kind of look like this. Like, this is...
I was feeling very glam.
If Abe had long black hair, she would look right now quite a lot like Carlotta Monterey.
Sorry, I can't be her.
But, you know, she does her best.
I do.
But before we get into that, Abe, Annals?
Let's get into our annals. What are my annals? I actually got to think of mine real quick.
Okay.
I don't have any.
Do you want me to go first? Because mine's quite a doozy.
You go for it.
Okay. This week I had a revelation. I was introduced to a new word. I added a new word to my vocabulary. Quite a strange one.
And what word is that?
It pertains to homosexual fetish culture.
Homosexual fetish culture. Okay.
Mpreg. Do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As someone who is part of the One Direction fandom, if you know, you know. Yeah, I'm familiar with the concept of Mpreg.
Yeah, so I didn't really know. Like, obviously,
Users of Tumblr.com.
I've seen illustrations of Dr. Whittaker pregnant with Dr. Robbie's child from the pit, but I didn't know beyond that really what mpreg was until I came upon this. And don't ask me why this was showing up on my algorithm. I came upon on Twitter an account that's all these men doing very convoluted mpreg scenarios. I learned that there are certain people out there for whom that sort of like scratches an itch.
Yeah.
So,
and
good on them.
Yeah.
I suppose.
I think it's
let a
interesting
million flowers bloom.
Let 1,000 blossoms bloom.
Yeah.
But I'm not wasting any more time on it because every 10 seconds
a person in Queensland is eaten by a crocodile.
Love that.
Bob Catter.
I think what I think is most interesting about mpreg is like, at first when I heard about mpreg, I was like, oh, okay, so they're like trans men.
No.
And then I realized, because when I found out about mpreg was only a few years after the famous pregnant man.
Of course.
Whose name I can't recall at the moment, but we will put a picture of
he was on the Today Show.
News headline. And I was, 8 or 9? And so I asked my mom, I was like,
can a man get pregnant? I asked my mom the same thing.
I was like, what's going on? And I'm like seahorse situation, what's the vibe? And so my mom explains it to me. She was like, some people are born one way and they feel like inside they are another way, and so they change their body, but they might keep some parts to do things like have babies. And I said,
well, that was an excellent way of explaining that.
And Emily. I was like, okay, shout out my mom. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then that was it. That's why all this bullshit about people were like, how do I explain it to my kids? What do you mean?
It ain't that hard. You can do it in like 2 sentences.
But duh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was what I thought when I first was introduced to mpreg, probably around 12, on www.tumblr.com.
Of course.
And then I sort of realized that I was like, oh wait, it's not. It's like cis guys.
It is. It's like
pregnant.
cisgender men who usually have just had homosexual sex
pregnant?
And they get butt pregnant. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what that is.
Wow.
And
that's incredible, Jared.
You know what? I don't want to reveal too much about my personal life because it's not what we do on this podcast. But has a man told me in the past, I'm going to get you pregnant? Yes. And have I laughed at that? Yeah. But now I think it might be possible, and I'm a little freaked out. So
what if mpreg happens?
What if it actually happens?
It could happen to you.
The immaculate mpreg?
That's the immaculate mpreg is actually how Tom Brady was born.
Stop.
Someone like Tom Brady could only be born purely of the flesh of another man.
I love him.
Immaculate mpreg. I know you do.
I love him.
I know you do.
Wait, if you told me that's how the greatest football player of all time was born, I would be like, but of course.
He was born Via mpreg.
The immaculate mpreg. The only reason I know that's not true is because he loves his mom. He loves his mom. What is your annal?
Like, honestly, I'm just thinking about mpreg now. Cause
What's your non-mpreg annal?
like, is there even anything else?
Did anything else happen this week?
I don't know if it's like epilepsy or something, but I think I have a problem with flashing lights.
What happened?
I went to if anyone's familiar, any lesbos out there or girl kissers or other people like that. I went to Futch night.
You went to Futch night?
I went to Futch night.
Okay.
And in one of the rooms at the venue, there was like not flashing lights, and that room was totally fine. But the first room I went into was like dark and like bright flashing lights. And usually I have like, I know I can get like sensory overload when I'm there, or lights can make me feel weird. They have before. So I always bring like sunglasses, like polarized sunglasses. And I always bring like earplugs. And I had those in, and I still was like, I was like really disoriented and getting really confused because they were flashing from like directly down. I'm used to like concerts where they're flashing from the front.
Right.
So I can just like look down or something and it's fine. But they were flashing from directly on top. So they were everywhere.
Can't escape.
And they were insanely bright and I couldn't escape. And I was like, I like grabbed my friend and I was like, hey, I think I need to leave this room because I feel weird. I feel disoriented. And I feel kind of confused. And she like led me out. But when I tell you that my friend was too high, like it was the blind leading the blind. Like it was.
So it's like you.
Girl who was too stoned.
You on verge of panic attack.
No, not even panic attack. Like I was like, I felt like my brain was going to sneeze. I don't know how to explain it besides that.
I felt like your body was being screenshotted.
Yeah, but like I didn't feel like I was panicking. Believe me, I would know. Very familiar with
I'm
that.
familiar with the concept of panic.
So yeah, I don't know. It's happened a couple times at this point, and I'm like, do I have an issue with flashing lights? But then I'm like, I guess if I find out, like, I won't. You know, I don't want to know.
I don't want to know the reasons why you love. Oh.
For our lives to be over.
I love Paula Cole.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess my annals is kind of boring, but I guess my annals is maybe I have epilepsy. I don't really know.
Only one way to find out.
Or maybe just
I will be flashing a light directly in Abe's face until she starts seizing.
no, like a strobe light. I think would take me out. Like no, like Jared.
Anytime
It was
Abe's annoying
Jared.
me a
I was
little
like, you know when Wendy Williams was like, and then fell.
My first possessed.
That was me. That was like how I felt. I felt like Wendy. I was
And then
like,
the studio audience screams.
I grabbed Soren and I was like, hey. And she was like, she thought that I had smoked too much. And I said, no. Because the second I was out of the room, I was like, oh, thank God. I feel so much better. So, Jared, who are we talking about today? What's going on? Where are we? And I guess most of all, why?
Well, Abe, I can answer all of those questions.
Amazing.
We're going to do the 5 W's for this episode.
And I'm going to eat a cucumber while you tell me.
Eat your cucumbers while I tell you. Who? The American playwright Eugene Gladstone O'Neill.
What a name.
I know. What? Family dysfunction, alcoholism, Broadway theater, depression, anger, repression, failed marriages, 4 Pulitzer Prizes, and the only Nobel Prize ever won by an American dramatist.
Damn, bitch, slow down. What the hell? Right.
What more could you ask for?
But our marriage didn't fail.
My mustache is fully coming off. Can I take it off?
Why are you asking me for permission?
You're kind of like my mommy when we're on this set.
Your mommy.
Okay, mustache.
Okay, but guys, vote down below. Like, doesn't Jared look kind of good with a mustache?
Mustache time is over.
I think it like really suits him. And then he texted his man. Wait, hold on. We need to commemorate it. So I think we just.
Let's just leave it. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Put it on the throw.
I texted my mans and he did say that I looked really good with a mustache. So, and that means that I have to blanket man. This is blanket man. That means that I have to grow a mustache. Laugh it out about blanket man. For those of you who can't see, we have now stuck We have stuck the mustache onto the couch, and there is a pair of glasses situated above it, so it looks like a man's face.
I love him. But Daddy, I love him. But Father, I love him.
There's a major "But Daddy, I love him" moment coming up in this episode.
Oh my God. Jared, I'm so excited.
Okay, so when
yeah,
from O'Neill's, we will be talking about the length of O'Neill's life. So we're starting from O'Neill's birth in 1888 to the Broadway premiere of Long Day's Journey into Night in 1956.
Oh, Long Day's Journey into Night. That was him?
Yes. Where? New York City, New London, Connecticut, a sanatorium.
Oh, fuck.
Provincetown, Massachusetts.
P-Town, baby.
The San Ramon Valley of California, and Boston.
What were they doing in P-Town if they're not gay?
P-Town wasn't always gay. Can you believe?
I don't believe.
We'll return to that.
What the hell? For those of you who don't know, Provincetown, Massachusetts is
gay mecca.
Extremely gay. And I mean, it's like if you think of like Fire Island, like it's
Fire Island, but like older and
for
richer.
Everyone and richer.
Well, the people who own houses in P-Town are richer. Yeah, but P-Town you can drop in for a visit, unlike Fire Island.
Yes, I think that also like P-Town is more for like a variety of people across the LGBTQ community.
I think that's true. There's
much
bigger lesbian presence in P-Town.
Man,
yeah.
Are you a gay man?
Yeah.
Not everyone,
but
I mean, let's ask Couchman.
Finally, the why. O'Neill insisted that theater should confront life's deepest emotional and existential truths. He brought American drama of age through his career and his body of work. He supplanted the mediocre farce, melodrama, and operettas that dominated the American stage in the 19th and early 20th centuries. He ushered in dramatic modernism in the United States. You know, it's sort of drawn from people like Strindberg and Chekhov and Ibsen. And he, made possible a lot of the greatest dramatists of the 20th century in their work. So like Tennessee Williams and August Wilson and Arthur Miller. Without O'Neill, none of those people would have been able to have created the body of work that they each did.
As soon as you mentioned like modernism in American theater, I thought of August Wilson. I thought of August Wilson.
Yeah, like Fences and
Ma
Rainey and The Piano Lesson and a bunch of other plays. So a quick overview of his body of work, and then I'll tell you the points that we're going to cover in this episode. So O'Neill wrote almost exclusively dramas. He wrote one noteworthy comedy called Awe Wilderness.
Was it funny?
I don't know. I've never read Awe Wilderness, actually. But it's sort of like a picturesque reimagining of his own youth. Because as we're going to get into, his childhood was like anything but picturesque. But some of his best remembered plays include Anna Christie, which was Greta Garbo's first talking picture was Anna Christie.
Greta Garbo, lesbian friend of the channel.
The Emperor Jones, The Hairy Ape, Desire Under the Elms, Strange Interlude, and Morning Becomes Electra.
Actually, I heard, you know what I heard about The Hairy Ape?
What?
I heard that it was about you.
That's really funny because I saw this play a couple weeks ago. It was called Dumb, Smelly Idiot. And the subtitle was The Abe Merker Story. So it was called Clammy Hands, The Abe Merker Story.
Hey.
I'm sorry. Hey. I'm sorry.
Mine's called Crippling Insecurity, the Jared Tatro story.
Oh, I can't even get upset about that. That's just true.
My hands are clammy right now.
His most artistic, because I just mentioned it, and it's going to make it worse.
No, they were already.
His most artistically significant and arguably most enduring plays, they're also ones that are drawn directly from experiences in his own life, because a lot of his work is directly autobiographical. So, and those plays are The Iceman Cometh, Long Day's Journey into Night, and A Moon for the Misbegotten.
The Nightman Cometh.
Iceman Cometh, famously the basis for The Nightman Cometh.
Dayman.
Oh, fighter of the night man. Oh, champion of the sun. Oh, you're a master of karate and friendship for everyone. Dayman.
How do we do the same part? We're so like in sync.
Oh my God, that was
amazing.
so
D and Dennis. We're so D and Dennis.
You haven't thought about the smell, you bitch. I definitely peaked. Sorry. So yeah, that's O'Neill. The beats that I want to cover in this episode are like an overview of O'Neill's family background, his early life, his personality as it developed, the inflection point of his life, which came in the year 1912 when he decided he was going to be a playwright, the development of his themes and artistic vision, his beginnings with the Provincetown Players, his marriages, his relationships to his kids, which are all not great.
I can only imagine.
His peak productivity followed by a withdrawal completely from the commercial theater, and then his final most prolific years, his death and his enduring legacy.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Take me on a trip
I'm
into
gonna
the life
take
of
you
Eugene O'Neill.
on a journey to some very sad Irish places. Here we go.
Let's go.
Eugene O'Neill was born October 16th, 1888 in a hotel on Times Square.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Guys, can you imagine being born at like what is the one, the Marriott?
The Marriott
Inn?
the Marriott
Can you imagine being born
Square.
at the Marriott in Times Square?
And it wasn't even Times Square back then, it was still Longacre
God.
Square. He was
Wow.
the son of James O'Neill Sr. and Ella O'Neill. James O'Neill Sr. was a stage actor, was one of the most famous stage actors of his day,
wow.
actually. He was Irish-born. He had come to America and taught himself how to act. And at one point, he had been a very, very respected actor. He acted alongside Edwin Booth.
Oh, who, for those of you who don't know, is the more successful brother of John
Wilkes Booth.
Assassin of Abraham Lincoln.
John Wilkes Booth, not as good of an actor as his brother. Edwin was like a super accomplished Shakespearean actor, and James O'Neill performed alongside him.
Did a lot of Shakespeare.
He did. That was what most of the American theater was. It was, sort of overwrought productions of Shakespeare and
Or
just
silly
like
little
silly melodrama.
Yeah.
Or
farces.
Or farces, yeah, that weren't that funny.
Move aside, vaudeville. The modernists are coming to town.
Yes.
And there's
Storm
no room.
clouds are rising.
There is no room for your silly bullshit.
James O'Neill, the prodigious talent he showed early in his career was eventually overshadowed because he purchased the rights to a play, a stage adaptation of The Count of Monte Cristo, and he toured it around the country in the leading role for the next 30 plus years.
What?
It was super popular.
He just was he performed The Count of Monte Cristo for 30 years.
Yes, he essentially played the same role for the rest of his life because it was a consistent box office success, and he knew he could make a steady 30 to 40K a year, which was a lot of money back then, doing this kind of work.
Wow.
And so that was what he did. But he also lost the prodigious acting talent over time that he had cultivated when he was in his youth.
Yeah. Because he's not being challenged. He's just doing the same thing.
Exactly.
All the time.
Exactly.
It just becomes that's just work.
Exactly. And there is a speech in Long Day's Journey into Night, which is the play that O'Neill writes about his immediate family, in which James Tyrone, who is the stand-in character for James O'Neill, gives this incredibly riveting speech about his lost potential. I'm linking a performance by Christopher Plummer of that speech in our show notes because it's literally his performance is astounding. But Ella O'Neill, Eugene's mother, was a devout Catholic woman. Her happiest years were spent in a convent school.
Good for her.
She wanted to be a concert pianist, but she met James when she was just 14 years old and married him when she was 18. She was swept away by his charm and charisma.
How old was he?
He was a little older.
How old was he when they got married?
When he married her, she was 18 and he was 29.
Right. So when they met, she was 14 and he was 25.
There's another age gap marriage that comes up later in the story, and it makes that one look like, two 16-year-olds holding hands.
Oh my God.
So
no.
Yeah, she met James when she was just 14 years old, married him at 18. In Long Day's Journey into Night, Mary Tyrone, the stand-in character for Ella O'Neill, she gives a speech about the first time that she met James, and she says, all I wanted was to be his wife. I didn't care about anything else. All the other girls at the convent, were jealous of me because, I met James O'Neill, who was one of the most famous and good-looking men in the country, James Tyrone, who was one of the most famous and good-looking people in the country, and I got to be with him. But
it's like Priscilla and Elvis, man.
It actually, in that way, it's kind of like Priscilla and Elvis, yeah.
Age gap's the same, too.
But I think that the life on the road, because obviously James O'Neill was touring his plays, so the family lived on the road. They had a cottage in New London, Connecticut, where they would spend their summers. It was near Long Island Sound, and that was like the only family home that they ever properly had. But there is this crushing tragedy that strikes the O'Neills before Eugene's even born. It happens in 1886. James and Ella, they have 2 sons at this point. An elder son, James Jr., who is called Jamie, and then an infant son named Edmund.
Okay. So no Eugene yet.
So Eugene hasn't been born yet.
Okay.
He won't be born for 2 more years.
Okay. I got to get some cucumbers for this story.
So Ella had unwillingly gone on tour with James because he had asked her to come. She didn't want to leave her baby, and she didn't really want to leave Jamie either. But she leaves them with her mother and goes and meets her husband on tour. While she's away, Jamie comes down with measles. And then soon after, the baby also gets measles. And she's urged by her mother to come back from tour, but before she can return to New York, Edmund, the baby, dies of measles.
Oh my God. All because her bum-ass husband couldn't just be without her for a little bit.
Well, Ella, that's the thing. Ella is so emotionally destroyed by the death of this child that she projects guilt onto herself and the rest of the family for the rest of her life.
Oh God.
She blames, first of all, James, her husband, for coaxing her to come on tour, right? Like you just said.
Yeah.
And then she blames Jamie, who is only 7 years old at this time, for deliberately giving his younger brother measles because he was jealous.
What the hell?
She believes that for the rest of his life, of Jamie's life.
That's fucked. That's
and
terrible.
So
poor Jamie.
Jamie is, as a lot of O'Neill scholars call it, he's characterized as a young man who harbors bitter hatred for the world because of this. He is emotionally deformed by the guilt that his mother puts on him for his brother's death. And unlike Eugene, ultimately, Jamie has no artistic outlet to sort of exorcise those demons. And so he dies young of alcoholism. But
that's so horrible.
Ella, after the death of her baby, pledges that she's never going to have another child. But within 2 years, she has conceived Eugene.
Catholic family planning.
Right. And so she has the baby, but guilts the baby as well as he grows up because she feels as though he is evidence of her sinfulness because she made a pledge to God and then broke that pledge by having this child. So,
girl, that's your fault.
I don't think she was an easy mother to have.
Certainly not.
Eugene, like all children, when he is born, loves his mother, but his mother is distant from him also because her delivery, the sheer volume of tragedies that keep descending on this family, you're like, fuck, like, Jesus. Ella's delivery of Eugene is really difficult, and she ends up getting addicted to morphine.
Oh my God.
Because she's given morphine during her delivery.
Bro.
And so for the next, decades of her life, she struggles with a morphine addiction. So she's doubly aloof from Eugene while he's growing up.
Holy shit.
He adored his mother, but he had no motherly presence in his life. In a lot of his work, his male characters are grappling for like a maternal character to hold on to.
Wow.
He is sent away at, I believe, 7 years old from the family to go to a boarding school in the Bronx, a very strict Catholic boarding school.
Okay.
He attempts to, substitute the lost, love of his mother with, the love of Jesus. But he has an ultimate break with the family's Catholic faith when he's 14 because Ella attempts suicide by jumping off of the dock at the family house in New London into the Thames River, trying to drown herself during a morphine withdrawal. And it's at that point that his much older... Jamie's 10 years older than him, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is a lot of information, but... It's at that point that his brother and his father have to sit him down and tell him about his mother's addiction, because he didn't know about it until he was 14. And at that point, he renounces the Catholic faith and says... It's that moment of being like... what God would allow this sort of thing.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And it's the
That's
break.
a lot.
It is a lot. It's a break in his spiritual identity. It starts a pattern of what he describes as seeking flight. He is seeking flight from himself, from his family, from the identity that he's built himself on, trying to escape into a world in which he does not have to exist as Eugene O'Neill, this sort of blighted son of these two really damaged people. It begins, as he reaches into early adulthood, he moves into this very listless period of his life, which we will touch on shortly. But I want to talk about his personality.
Yeah, what person comes out of this?
He's not a guy I think you'd want to hang out with.
Not a guy you'd grab a beer with?
No. He's a guy that you would black out drinking whiskey with.
Whew.
He is the kind of person, he's very sexy, but he's like brooding.
Oh.
So you see photos of him and he's like one of those sort of tall Irishmen with like a wiry frame. You can tell he's got muscle. As a child, he's like kind of aloof and dreamy. He spends a lot of time looking out to sea and daydreaming.
Yeah.
But as an adult, he's sort of cold and has this incredibly intense manner about him. Agnes Bolton, his second wife, she remembered him as having, quote, a disturbing look in his eyes, both sad and cruel.
Ooh.
Carlotta described him as a rough, tough black Irishman, interested only in his work and nothing else.
Why were they marrying him?
Because I think intensity in a man can be very attractive sometimes, especially in that kind of world where, you know, Agnes Bolton, his second wife, wanted to be a writer. But for a woman...
No, you're right. He's like a tortured genius type vibe.
That's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
And a lot of his behaviors, and this came up in the reading that I did on him, a lot of his behaviors wouldn't be tolerated in people today, I think. Because the tortured genius archetype is not as...
It's not what it used to be.
It's not what it used to be. It's taken a knock.
Because of woke.
Noticed. Because of woke.
Because of woke. And because now there's like women and like what? Minorities who want...
Ridiculous.
Respect.
So this is the part where we get into those years where he's kind of adrift and aloof, and then they culminate in that like Axis year of 1912 where like his life like shifts really decisively toward being an artist.
Yeah, he's like, this is my moment.
This is my moment and I'm getting after it.
I'm chasing my dreams.
So yeah, he attends Princeton briefly. He drops
Jersey.
He drops out after I think one semester. There are different stories as to how he dropped out. Some people say that he left of his own accord. Other people say that he got kicked out for drinking.
Ooh.
But while he was at Princeton, he first encountered a lot of the artists and thinkers that would become the inspiration for his later work. Like he reads Nietzsche for the first time. He sees his first Ibsen plays.
Have a guy in college read Nietzsche.
I know, but Nietzsche was like brand spanking new.
I know. They must have been even more insufferable than they are now.
And this is when...
Have you ever heard of Nietzsche?
Have you heard of this guy Nietzsche?
Have you read Nietzsche before? It's like basically like nothing matters.
He does this thing.
Shut up.
This is when he does, also in these years, he does like a real like horrible thing. In 1909, he marries this woman named Kathleen Jenkins. He has a child with her, Eugene O'Neill Jr., and then he promptly abandons both wife and child to go to sea and does not see the child again.
To sea?
Yes, on a merchant vessel. He does not see his son again until his son is 11 years old.
Oh my God. Deadbeat dad alert.
Literally. And you will...
we need to have some kind of deadbeat dad alert every time he's a deadbeat dad.
Deadbeat dad alert.
Deadbeat dad alert.
So like he will repeat that pattern again, as we will see.
I kind of assumed.
His time at sea is central to like his self-concept. He declared, I wanted to be a two-fisted He-Man sailor. And Carlotta, his wife...
He-Man?
Yes.
Right.
Carlotta, his final wife...
Men are so silly.
They're so silly.
Like, you could just do that on land.
I know. But she's like...
I guess not be a sailor,
his
but...
sea years are like the happiest years of his life, as Carlotta says.
He probably just should have kept doing that instead of subjecting women.
He drank really, really heavily. He wanders from port to port.
Oh, my God.
I go around sailing port to port. Every time I come, I produce a quart. That's from Step Brothers. Sorry. Boats and hoes.
Shut the fuck
He
up.
spends time in, quote, the pits and back rooms of society. And in Buenos Aires, he almost, like, dies because he runs out of money and is so drunk all the time and like
Right.
it's terrible.
So he's a sailor, falls into addiction.
Yes. And he
Right.
uses like the very last of his income to get from Buenos Aires back to New
Wow.
York City.
You know what Carrie Nation would have to say about him falling victim to the bottle.
To drink. That old devil hooch. That old devil hooch has enslaved poor Jean.
She would look at this and be like, see
what I told you?
and she was doing her shit kind of around the same time.
She was.
So no, she died in 1911,
But this is
right before
this is she's on the lecture circuit at this time. So
yeah.
um
Yeah, she is.
he gets back to New York City and he settles at this saloon on Fulton Street.
Okay.
Called Jimmy the Priest. Jimmy the Priest is later the setting of The Iceman Cometh. So,
Is it still around?
It is no, it is not.
Is it something else?
I have no idea.
I bet it's like a Citibank.
All of those buildings are like probably completely destroyed.
Maybe it's like a
he described
slot bowl place. It's probably like a kava.
Private equity owned slop bowl chain.
Just as he would have wanted. Just what he envisioned.
It is a place. Jimmy the Priest is a place inhabited by like people at the rock bottom of society.
Okay,
people.
cool.
He describes the inhabitants of Jimmy the Priest as derelicts, bums, and lungers.
Do you think he lied to make himself sound like cooler? He's like, yeah.
No, I think
You think
based
that
on
was
the
right?
available evidence, this place was a horrible, horrible place to
Right.
be. Lungers are people with tuberculosis, by the way.
Oh my god, they called him lungers?
Yes.
That's crazy. You know, I used to go to a place in Edinburgh called I think it was called like Henry's Cellar Bar or something like that, and it very much had like the same vibe, and like there was like 4 seats, and one night there was a band down there playing ska, and it was like really fucking loud because it's really small. And then like kind of across the room there was like chairs stacked up, and there was a woman like lying down asleep on them, like lying across the chairs.
Was that your Jimmy the Priest moment?
It sounds kind of like
But it was set to ska music?
It was set to ska music right before COVID in 2020.
Well, speaking of disease,
I wonder if the Henry Cellar Bar is still around.
tuberculosis will come back momentarily.
Thank God. Lungers. Why does it sound like a slur for people with TB?
Dirty lunger.
Like, what the fuck? It's not their fault.
He, while he's at Jimmy the Priest, he attempts suicide by swallowing a bunch of sleeping pills. It is not.
Oh my God.
His
So
attempt,
dramatic.
His attempt is not successful. His friends do get him to the hospital, and he survives.
That's good.
But after this happens, his parents move him back to New London, and his father sets him up with a job with the local newspaper. But at the end of 1912, on Christmas Day, I believe, actually,
Merry Christmas.
Eugene has to go check into a sanatorium because he has tuberculosis.
Oh, so now we're talking about it's probably from hanging out in those fucking places
with all the lungers
and being drunk all of the time.
For 6 months, he is completely cut off from the rest of society
Whoa.
and from the life that he knew before. So he spends this time in the sanatorium reading voraciously, broadening his horizons artistically, reads Strindberg a lot, reads more Nietzsche, reads all of these, modernist creatives and artists.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes out with this determination, I will be an artist or nothing.
Okay. Fair enough.
And so this is around the
he
time.
was right.
And he was right. I mean, he was like, I will literally be an artist or nothing. Like, I will die before I allow myself to be anything but an artist, which, respect.
Fair enough.
This is around the time that he develops his artistic sort of ethos and his vision. He's obsessed with emotional truth, largely drawn from his own life and experiences. Although in his early career, his life experiences are couched in a lot of experimental drama. Which we will get into that in more detail. Sea imagery comes up a lot in his work.
Who would have thought?
The boundless, unreachable horizon, yearning for that which one can never fully possess. But the promise of possibility and of flight away from the life which you've inhabited.
Yeah.
His recurring preoccupations are usually like things like they're very Irish: longing, shame, humiliation, guilt, repression, desire for belonging, alienation, failed redemption, and the impossibility of escaping one's past.
Yeah.
As Mary Tyrone says,
Jesus.
The past is the present. It's the future, too. We all tried to lie out of that, but life won't let us. And she was right.
Damn, she ate with that one.
But how does Jean become an artist? Like how
yeah,
does
like
he
where does he start? Where does he, because his dad was an actor, so
Yeah.
he grew up around the theater.
Right.
But how does he envision himself as an artist? Does he experiment at first?
So
or?
what's interesting is he is completely disinterested in his father's. He's not disinterested. He is directly antagonistic to everything that his father artistically stood for. He sees his father's form of theater as, trash, as garbage.
But he knows he wants to write.
He knows he
starts
wants to
writing.
write, and he starts writing.
Okay.
And he gets into a group of he gets connected with a very avant-garde group of political thinkers and artists based in Greenwich Village.
Classic. Couldn't do that now because it's little Utah.
That is correct. It's all Mormons.
What the fuck?
In 1916, Gene goes up for summer vacation to Provincetown, Massachusetts with his friends from Greenwich Village.
Yep, sounds about right.
Provincetown is just starting to become like a bohemian enclave. It's a sleepy fishing town at this point.
Also, for those of you who don't know, it's right at the tip of Cape Cod, that arm that comes off of Massachusetts.
So you know how Cape Cod is like this. It's like a bicep.
It's like here.
That's where it is. Yeah.
It's right at the tip.
It's right at the tippy top. And so him and his group of friends, they decide to create this sort of very, ground up, bare bones playhouse called the Provincetown Players. And they're going to stage original plays, which their members have written. And Gene's first play to ever be produced is produced in the summer of 1916. It's a play called Bound East for Cardiff, which is about sailors.
It's
Big
called
surprise.
Eastbound and Down.
It's his first play is called Eastbound and Down.
It's about baseball.
A down and out baseball player named Kenny Powers, and it changed the world.
It changed everything.
But yeah, so he gets involved with the Provincetown Players, and in 1920, they go back to Greenwich and they buy a theater in New York City and they start mounting plays in New York.
As one does.
And the Provincetown Playhouse is still in Greenwich Village.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is. I think it's still on McDougal Street. It's used by the NYU Theater Program, the Provincetown Playhouse. In 1920, after getting critical attention for staging his plays off Broadway at the Provincetown Playhouse, he mounts his first show on Broadway. It's called Beyond the Horizon. Mm-hmm. It's about two brothers.
Is it about the sea?
It's about two brothers. You clocked my fucking T so
because
bad.
it's called Beyond the Horizon. That's about the sea, girl.
It's about two brothers.
It's the sea.
On a farm.
It's the sea.
In the Midwest, who are both in love with the same woman, and one of the brothers dreams of a life at sea. Yes.
It's so wet. It's the sea.
In the Rick Burns documentary, Rick Burns calls it in his narration.
Rick Burns, not Ken Burns.
Yeah, Rick Burns, his brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Rick Burns, in his documentary about O'Neill, calls Beyond the Horizon, quote, an uncompromisingly bleak drama about blighted dreams.
Oh my God. Blighted dreams.
But it's a huge critical success.
People love it.
His mother and father come to see it, and his father wept and said, wow, you're an artist.
Oh my God.
That was beautiful.
Wow. That's huge.
And he wins the Pulitzer Prize for Drama that year.
Oh, his Broadway debut.
First ever Broadway play, he wins the Pulitzer Prize for Drama. He will win 2 more in his lifetime, but 3 more altogether.
Wow.
Yeah, so he is now sort of a Broadway darling right from the start. But he goes through, of course, some more family tragedy.
He's
because
a star.
Later in 1920, his father dies of cancer. His mother dies 2 years later in 1922, and after the death of his mother, his brother Jamie drinks himself to death, and he dies in 1923.
Oh my God!
So within the span of 4 years,
everyone dies.
His entire immediate family dies.
He's alone. So how did his mom die though?
His mom died of a brain tumor.
Cancer, tumor, drunk to death.
Yes.
Oh my God. This is fucking sad.
At virtually the same time as his father's death in 1920, O'Neill is writing his next great play, though, because he's like, can't think about dead dad. Really got to continue writing this.
Yeah,
this
struck
play.
with inspiration.
Jamie sends him a telegram to come up to New London because their dad's dying, and he's like, no, I can't get away.
And then his dad dies.
Yeah. I think it's because he couldn't face the emotional turmoil of witnessing that.
Probably.
But
This guy does not sound well-adjusted
he's
at all.
whatever the opposite of well-adjusted is. That
Poorly
is what
adjusted?
Eugene O'Neill is. Yes, he's poorly adjusted.
There we go.
He's working on the Emperor Jones at this point. The Emperor Jones is
I was curious about that
it's
one.
an experimental. It's a play that experiments with sound very intensely.
How do you mean?
So the premise of the play is there's this guy who used to be a sleeping car porter. The other huge detail about this play, before I tell you what the plot is, it's the first play on Broadway, in Broadway history, with a black male main character and a black actor in the lead role.
That's what I was going to say, because you said a porter, and back then, in the 1920s, many porters, especially in New York,
right,
were black.
It's about, he was a sleeping car porter
Yeah.
who flees the United States, moves to this island country in the Caribbean, and becomes the emperor of that island country.
Okay,
And
well,
it's a play that, yes, there's a lot of racist tropes in this play. So yes,
I figured.
But O'Neill uses, he read a story about African religious ceremonies and their use of the drum, and he became interested in incorporating the drum to manifest dramatic tension throughout the play.
Yeah.
So he uses sounds to cue like flashbacks, like memories in Jones's mind,
which is now used like all the time in theater.
But that was a huge innovation. It was very expressionistic. It used like elongated shadows and sound and complex sound design and hallucination sequences.
Ooh.
Broadway had never quite seen anything like that before.
It was different. It was daring.
Yeah, and the
It was
performance,
bold.
the performance, of course, of Charles S. Gilpin, who is the black actor who played the Emperor Jones, is a pivotal moment in Broadway history as well.
Yeah,
because he
definitely.
had never been.
It's like
No black actor had been cast in like a serious
Yeah.
dramatic role on Broadway in that way before. I think the Emperor Jones, topically, it shows us what Eugene O'Neill is going to lean into in his later years on the stage, because he never shies away from like a controversial subject.
Yeah.
So in Anna Christie, he portrays like, she's a prostitute and she is not punished for being a sex worker. Like she gets the man that she wants at the end of the play, and she's not like, she doesn't die.
Crazy.
Although when it was staged overseas, they would illegally rewrite the play so that she would die.
Yeah, because it's like, well, if you're gonna write about a sex worker, she's got to pay for it in the end.
Right. But O'Neill was like, no, and he wins in 1922. He wins his second Pulitzer Prize for Anna Christie.
Period.
In another play of his, All God's Children Got Wings, which stars Paul Robeson, there's an interracial marriage depicted between Paul Robeson, a black man, and a white woman.
Wow, that was very.
That's a huge deal in the mid 1920s. Just to like round out this discussion of this early part of his career, in 1927 he writes Strange Interlude, which is this massive 9-act play in which the characters speak their thoughts out loud. So they all are giving internal monologues as the play is going. Today,
and there's other stuff happening too, or is it just internal monologue?
Yes, it's like dramatic asides
and then
dialogue. Yes. So they'll be like, perhaps I should tell him what I'm thinking. Sam, I want to go to the store today. Like, it's that sort of thing. Like,
yeah.
But at the time in the 20s, that was like a really avant-garde.
New.
Right. So he wins his third Pulitzer for Strange Interlude. And then in the early 1930s, he writes a trilogy of plays, which is called Morning Becomes Electra, which is based on the Orestia by Aeschylus.
Yeah.
So he adapts, this tragic Greek generic formula he directly transposes that onto a setting, a New England setting in the 1860s during the Civil War. So Agamemnon becomes Ezra Mannon. That's all of these characters, these classical characters.
Exactly.
Are
It's
adapted
like,
into
look,
these
it's like 10
archetypes.
Things I Hate About You.
And he
Exactly.
It's like The Lion King.
Don't worry, I understand.
Right.
Yeah.
Adaptation. Do you know what adaptation is? Yeah.
Heard of it?
Heard of it? It's a huge undertaking, and the play is 5 hours long. So.
Oh, fuck that.
Most of his later plays, they just keep getting longer and longer and longer.
Why would you? I don't want to sit through a 5-hour-long play.
I'd sit through a 5-hour-long play if it's good.
I wouldn't. How many intermissions you got?
Probably 2.
I would need more. I would need 3.
It's that, and that's an indictment of the American attention span.
I have ADHD.
Do you know it's been? They didn't have ADHD in my day. They have it now
You're
because
a year
of the
younger
screens.
than me.
It's the screens.
Because of the damn phones.
It's the damn phone. Mr. Couch, did you have ADHD in your day? And that's right from the horse's mouth. Sorry, the couch's mouth. Straight from the couch's mouth.
You wouldn't believe it.
So, Deadbeat Dad Alert returns because we're gonna
Deadbeat Dad Alert.
We're gonna talk about his wives and children.
Oh my god.
So yeah, we already talked about how he abandoned his first wife and son.
And
but
abandoning your junior as well. I'm like, really? You guys named it after you, and then you were like, I gotta go.
I gotta go.
Whack as fuck.
I
would have renamed it. What was her name?
Kathleen.
I would have renamed it Kathleen Jr.
Even though he was a boy.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Fuck a boy named Sue. This is a boy named Kathleen.
Kathleen Jr.
I think my mother and I.
If I have a kid, I'm naming it Abe. I'm not having a kid, but if I did have a kid, I'd name it Abe.
Abe Jr.
Yeah.
My mother and I were talking about this critical shortage of young girls named Kathleen. Where are they? Where are the Dianes, the Denises,
Where
the
are
Kathleens,
the Brendas,
the Eileens, the Brendas? In 1917, he met when he was, first getting started in Greenwich Village. He meets Agnes Bolton, who is this writer, who's a friend of a friend. Mm-hmm. And he immediately upon their first meeting says, I want to spend every night the rest of my life with you.
Oh my god, this is like when Pete Davidson and the mother of his child, Elsie, whatever her name is, on their first date, she said that she knew she was going to have his kids, and now she is a single mom
who works 2 jobs.
I mean, she works at least one job because he apparently is not giving her any money.
Pete Davidson had a baby?
Pete Davidson had a baby, and he's a deadbeat dad.
I didn't know this.
Deadbeat dad alert.
I missed that whole thing.
Girl, he and Colin Jost also bought a decommissioned Staten Island ferry, and they're in like hundreds of thousands of dollars in docking fee.
That one I did know about.
He got all his tattoos lasered off, every single one.
No, he did. Everyone.
Every single one.
Peter.
BPD final boss is Pete Davidson. Fuck.
Within 6 weeks of meeting, he and Agnes got married. They have 2 children together. Their son Shane in 1919. Imagine being named Shane and you're born in 1919.
What is this, the L word?
Are you fucking kidding me? And then they have their daughter Una, who was born while they're living
Shane
in
Una
Una's born while they're living in Bermuda in 1925.
Bermuda.
They move around a lot.
How did they end up in Bermuda?
They're like, we need an island. Let's go to Bermuda. And then they went there.
Did they already live on an island? The island of New York?
No, they were living in Provincetown a lot of the time. The marriage between Gene and Agnes starts to deteriorate pretty rapidly as his career takes off. He spends a ton of time away from home. He's very emotionally neglectful. He cheats on her constantly. And then when he wants her and he sends for her and she's like, I don't want to come and, spend time with you in New York and fight with you the entire time because that's what we'll do if we're hanging out. And he literally says in his letters, he's like, do you want me to cheat on you?
You're asking for it.
He's like, you must want me to have sex with somebody else if you're going to deny me.
Oh my God.
He's a horrible
This guy's a dick.
He is a horrendous husband. Like a horrendous husband.
Oh,
and
this
father.
guy sucks.
But I don't want to make excuses for him because plenty of people who come from bad family backgrounds are not like this. But he also, I don't think knew what a good, stable marriage looked like either.
No, probably not.
And
but
also,
he could have at least tried.
He placed impossible demands on the women that he married too because
he
needed them to be lover and wife
and mother.
Right.
Jail.
Right.
To the stocks with him.
So yeah, they get divorced in 1929 so that
good for her.
So that he can marry Carlotta Monterey, who is an actress that he met while working on another one of his big plays, The Hairy Ape.
Is that a stage name or she was in The Hairy Ape?
She was the woman in The Hairy Ape. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Carlotta Monterey is a stage name. Carlotta has she's got a whole made up persona, like a fake background about being raised in England, which is all untrue. Her real name, Hazel Nielsen Tharsing.
Hazel Nielsen Tharsing?
Tharsing. I would change my name too.
Carlotta Monterey is a crazy choice.
It's a cunt name.
It
I'm
is
sorry.
But it is a crazy choice for your stage name.
Carlotta is like not just his wife though. She subsumes her entire life to facilitating his artistic endeavors. So she is like
stand up girl.
and that is such a classic persona. It's such a classic archetype with these artists.
Yeah.
Because like Hemingway had one of these wives, like where Hemingway's second wife, Pauline, her whole thing was like, I will run your house for you. I will do everything. I will keep the children out of your way. I will do everything to make it possible for you to write unimpeded. I will make sure we have money. Our money situation's good. I will do everything that ensures that you can work uninterrupted.
Why?
Because they believe in the work. They think that they're facilitating a genius.
But girl,
so
I'm like, you're enslaving yourself.
They share in the work. She feels as though she has equal investment in the work, if not equal credit for the work.
I guess.
It comes up late. Like, it's crazy. There is a moment where this really came home to me later on, and I will get into that. But yeah, wrapping up this section on his family, his relationship with his children is fucking horrible. Both of his sons will ultimately die by suicide. His son Eugene Jr. dies in 1950 when Gene is still alive, and then Shane dies in the 70s after years and years of drug addiction.
Fuck.
He disowns Una.
Why? What'd she do?
He disowns her in 1943 when she, at 18 years old, marries 54-year-old Charlie Chaplin.
Huh? Oh yeah, Charlie Chaplin. Nonce.
Yeah.
Charlie Chaplin.
And you could quote me on this.
You can quote me on that?
Nonce.
You can quote me on that? He's a nonce.
Charlie Chaplin's final wife
married Una O'Neill?
is Una O'Neill. He was 54 and she was 18.
That's sick.
And they had a shit ton of children together. They had like 9 kids.
That poor girl.
And
I'd love to see a woman get treated right in this story.
You're going to be waiting a long time.
Is it ever going to happen?
No, not really.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Sorry, love.
Damn, that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then
so everybody, if you want to be grateful for something today, just be grateful that your dad is not Eugene O'Neill.
Or Charlie Chaplin.
Or Charlie Chaplin.
Unless he is.
Unless he might be. His children, a ton of his children are still alive, so
Lord have mercy.
The sources say that like as he gets into like the 1930s, O'Neill is like incapable of remaining artistically complacent. He keeps setting himself these projects that get like more and more and more and more ambitious.
Yeah.
And the
because that's like his whole life. He's like given up on his family, basically. Like he doesn't participate in his family life.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like he doesn't have friends.
He has no.
He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who has friends.
He has surrendered every aspect of his life to this creative endeavor. Yes.
And so that's all he has, and to give his life meaning, he has to do it.
Right. And he becomes more experimental. And in the 30s, he writes this play called Days Without End. And it's this unusual sort of dreamlike exploration of faith and crises of faith and existentialism. And it uses like double actors. So 2 actors playing the same role and masks and,
That sounds confusing.
Plays on identity. The critics hated it. They savaged
Yeah, because it sounds confusing as shit.
And O'Neill, because he has a giant ego, is like, okay, you don't like my fucking play?
Yeah.
You will never, you won't fucking hear from me again. Goodbye.
Oh my God.
And he does not produce another Broadway play for 13 years.
He's so dramatic.
1
flop, and he can't even handle it.
And he can't handle it, no.
Baby.
So O'Neill, in these years, he and Carlotta, they move around a ton. They live in a house in Georgia, on the islands off of Georgia.
Tybee Island? Like that area?
I think so, yeah. They live in Seattle for a time, and then they settle down in the San Ramon Valley of California, like near the Bay Area, and in a house that they build called Dow House.
Dow House?
It's Tao House, but it's like everybody says it with a soft T because I think that's it's like an Eastern Asian word.
like Taoism.
Like Taoism, yes.
Yeah, Dow House. Okay. I understand.
Yeah.
It's Japanese.
So it's very it's inspired by like very it's built architecturally in this very East Asian like Japanese way.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful home and it's preserved by the National Park Service now.
Oh.
So you can go there, California Babes.
Yeah,
if you want to go out there.
If you guys are in California, West
It's
Coast.
in Danville, California.
Go crazy.
Go crazy.
Have fun in Danville.
And it's in that house that he writes some of his most important work. Although during most of the 30s, he is completely consumed by an endeavor which he will never finish, a project he will never finish, which is a cycle of 11 plays that follows an Irish immigrant family to the United States as they rise and fall.
Okay.
The cycle itself is called A Tale of Possessors Self-Dispossessed. It spans 150 years.
Fuck.
And of the 11 plays, only 2 of them survive and have ever been produced. They're called, the ones that survive are called The Touch of the Poet, which I've read, good play, and More Stately Mansions.
Was that one good?
That one is huge, and I have not read More Stately Mansions, but it follows the same family. The characters that are in A Touch of the Poet recur, some of them, in More Stately Mansions.
Okay.
And so
R.I.P. Eugene O'Neill. You would have loved TV.
He would have loved
You would
TV.
have loved like a mini.
Actually,
he would have loved a mini drama. He would have loved HBO.
Loved the miniseries. He would have loved Ryan Murphy. Eugene O'Neill x Ryan Murphy.
I think that Ryan Murphy is in some ways kind of Eugene O'Neill.
I mean, do you know who loves, speaking of Ryan Murphy, do you know who loves to act in an O'Neill play?
Ryan Murphy?
No, Jessica Lange.
Oh. Not Matthew Morrison.
Matthew Morrison. Yeah. Mr. Shu loves Eugene O'Neill. The central philosophical question of this cycle of plays is, what does it profit a man if he gains the world and loses his soul? But
Big question.
O'Neill can't finish it because he, around this time, is developing a neurological disorder, which is similar to Parkinson's.
Bruce Willis.
He has a tremor in his hands.
Oh.
And it worsens and worsens and worsens.
R.I.P. Eugene O'Neill. You would have loved voice to text.
He cannot write, like, he can't produce in any other way other than writing with pencil on paper.
Yeah.
And so when he loses the ability to write, he can't produce his work anymore.
Oh no.
And he insisted that none of the plays in the cycle could be staged until all of the cycle had been completed.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of this gets sort of tucked away and will return to the ultimate fate of his work later, his unfinished work later. But as time is sort of running out on his artistic career and he knows his health is failing, he's like, I've got to get back. There's stuff I want to say and I've got to say it before I run out of time.
Yeah.
And that's when he writes those autobiographical plays that we're going to talk about briefly. But in 1936, he wins the Nobel Prize.
Huge.
Huge. He becomes the only American playwright to ever win, to this day, to ever win the Nobel Prize.
Wow. That's the part that gets me, is it's like still.
I know. Almost 100 years later, 90 years later, still no one else has, no other American dramatist has won the Nobel Prize.
Let's go. Nobel Prize for drama?
For literature, which they'll give out to, they give it to songwriters. Bob Dylan has the Nobel Prize in literature.
That's what I thought. It didn't.
It's not just books. It's not just fiction. It's
so
also
Bob Dylan has won it since then.
Yeah,
he's American.
Bob Dylan won it. Well, Americans have won the Nobel Prize, but
American playwright.
No American playwright has won the world.
Sorry, I was like, duh.
Toni Morrison won the Nobel Prize.
Good for her.
So yeah, the irony though of his Nobel Prize win is that had he died in 1936, we would be like, yeah, he was good, but he wasn't, whatever. It's the work that he does after he wins the Nobel Prize that cements his legacy as the greatest American dramatist.
And those
who
are the
ever
plays
lived.
that are autobiographical. Those are the plays about his family.
His family, right.
He was like, I got to process this trauma before I go.
He writes 3 plays while living in Dow House, and they are The Iceman Cometh, Long Day's Journey into Night, and Moon for the Misbegotten.
Okay.
A Moon for the Misbegotten, excuse me. He writes Iceman in 1940. It drew directly from his time living at Jimmy the Priest.
Yeah.
It takes place in this bar room populated by these derelicts and the people sort of at the absolute bottom of society. Right, lungers. And the play's central philosophical idea is that, without illusions, we have all these illusions that we tell ourselves in order to live.
Mm-hmm.
Joan Didion, we tell ourselves stories in order to live. But without those stories, life as a human becomes unbearable and we will collapse into despair.
This guy's depressing.
It's a distillation of his belief about what life is and what the world is.
Yeah.
And this character Hickey, he is a traveling salesman who comes in and gives this big speech about, he tries to tell people, like, you've got to get rid of all your illusions. Like,
Yeah.
you've got to see the world for what it is.
Yeah.
And you got to stop telling yourselves all these stories about reforming yourself and becoming better tomorrow, because it's not going to happen. You've got
He's
the
like, give up.
yeah.
You are who you are,
But then it's
and you
revealed
suck.
Hickey himself has one illusion that he's grasping onto
What's
in order
his
to avoid
illusion?
the truth of what he's done in his life.
What'd he do?
He murdered his wife. But to hear him tell it, he's like, I had to do it. I had to free her from the agony of being married to me. And the only way I could do that, because she loved me, was killing her.
You could have just divorced her.
No, he had to do murder.
Right.
Right.
Be like, I had to.
He
There was no other way.
He stages Iceman.
Dumbass.
He makes his Broadway comeback in 1946 when he premieres the Iceman on Broadway.
And everyone's like, ah, boo.
It's critical reaction is very divided.
So
Some
I
people
was
are like,
right.
some people are like, this is literally the best play ever. And then there's this other review that I'm obsessed with that literally says, the action draggeth, the dialogue reeketh, the play stinketh.
Oh, he hated that one because it's like making fun of him too.
And he thinks he's being so smart.
When he
The guy
said,
who wrote that. It would later be recognized. It would get revived very famously in the 50s with Jason Robards in the lead role.
Mm-hmm.
And it would, when that was staged, people were like, oh, okay, so this is like one of the greatest American plays ever written.
Yeah, they're like, wait, no, it's good. We just needed to see someone good in it.
Yes. Long Day's Journey into Night is my favorite play maybe ever. Tell
me about it, Jared.
It takes place over the course of one day
Okay.
in the house in New London where he spent most of his childhood. And his mother reveals that she has, over the course of the play, his mother reveals that she's relapsed in her morphine addiction.
Yeah. I bet Jessica Lange loves to play this mother.
She does. The
Oh,
Eugene O'Neill
Lord.
stand-in character, he gets, he reveals he has tuberculosis. There's this the family sort of comes apart
Coming out as a
around
lunger.
this one day. And he described the play himself as a play full of sorrow, written in tears and blood.
Oh my God.
Carlotta recalled the absolute agony that he went through in order to produce this play. She said that he would come out of his study every night utterly physically exhausted, tears streaming down his face, because he had forced himself to go back and live in this world of pain with these people whom he'd loved but whom he'd been so deeply hurt and damaged by.
Yeah.
And he did it in order to attempt to understand and forgive them ultimately.
Oh,
And it's a really...
that's heavy.
It is the only change that he makes as far as like making it less true to life, because he captures the psychology of his family members astoundingly well.
Mm-hmm.
He switches out the names of... There's a dead baby in the Tyrone's family as well,
Mm-hmm.
but the baby's name is Eugene, and the youngest son is named Edmund. So he swaps out his own name for the dead baby. And then the last play that he wrote during this time, it's the last play that he ever finishes, is A Moon for the Misbegotten, which he writes in 1943.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a contemplation on his brother Jamie and Jamie's
Yeah.
very difficult life.
Yeah.
And Jamie's relationship with their mother, and attempts a kind of retrospective reckoning with his brother's
Yeah.
suffering.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's the bulk of his work. He could no longer write for the last 10 years of his life.
Yeah. Due to the tremors.
Carlotta, though, before his death, O'Neill has all those unfinished plays from that cycle that I was talking about.
Yeah.
He has outlines. He has thousands of pages of handwritten notes
Mm-hmm.
and drafts and stuff. And he says, he knows he's dying, and he says, I don't want anybody else to finish this. So he orders Carlotta to destroy all of the manuscripts.
Does she?
So they bring it, together. She says that there's so much paper, it takes hours.
Oh my God.
They rip up the pages by hand and burn them all. And Carlotta describes the experience as like tearing up children, because for her it was like, that was
her marriage.
This was her life,
Yeah.
right? And she was forced to destroy. And isn't that like, that's like Greek tragedy? Like that
Yeah.
is just like incredible stuff.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't know. But he dies. They move to Boston in their final years, his final years. And O'Neill dies in at the Sheraton Hotel, which is now a Boston University dormitory.
The universities are coming for this man's legacy.
He dies in a BU dorm on November 27th, 1953. He's 65 years old.
Wow. I'm still waiting for historical site slop bowl place.
I know. That's what we deserve.
It will.
It will happen. They're like, this kava is haunted by the ghost of Eugene O'Neill.
That's like how the building where they planned the Lincoln assassination in D.C.
Is Walk and Roll.
Is Walk and Roll, which is a Chinese restaurant slash
karaoke bar.
place. I
had some fun nights at Walk and Roll.
I did too, and I have great memories there. And then one night I left and I saw this plaque outside, and I was like a historical site plaque, and I was like, what is this? And I got closer, and I'm like, this place was the site where John Wilkes Booth and his co-conspirators planned the Lincoln assassination. I was like, at Walk and Roll?
At Walk and Roll?
At Walk and Roll? Shout out Walk and Roll.
We love you, Walk and Roll. So, yeah. Those plays, like Long Day's Journey into Night, when he died, was not published. No one had ever seen it.
Yeah.
And he had strict orders with his publisher to not even... For A, it could never be staged, and B, it couldn't be published until 25 years after his death. Carlotta Monterey, 3 years after Gene dies, she sees the revival of Iceman that Jose Quintero, the famous Broadway director, puts up in New York. And she's so impressed with it that she breaks Gene's will.
She's honestly like, fuck it.
And she gives the play to Jose Quintero to stage on Broadway, and he does.
I think that's fine.
I think it's fine too.
Because
and honestly, thank God she did.
Yeah.
Because that production changed theater history. It was it cemented O'Neill's legacy as the greatest American playwright. Because that show, when they staged it with Jason Robards as Jamie, it made people realize that true existential drama was possible from an American. And it won O'Neill his 4th Pulitzer Prize posthumously.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that was the culmination of his life's work, I think.
Yeah.
I think of Tennessee Williams's quote, which it's a very flamboyant quote, but it's also very Tennessee. He says that O'Neill gave birth to the American theater and he died for it, which is kind of true.
These playwrights are... and I don't know if this is controversial, very dramatic.
They're very dramatic.
And you know what? All for the better.
For our benefit.
For us.
Be quite
Maybe
honest.
not for them, but for us.
O'Neill, as Tony Kushner, who wrote Angels in America,
yeah,
he said that O'Neill suffered from an uncompromising devotion to truth and to the belief that life contains profound meanings beneath our, ostensible surfaces that we all carry. That's why he was so interested with the concept of masks.
Yeah.
And having this sort of inscrutable exterior that you had to dig under.
To
in
get to
order
the core.
to get to the real meaning of what life was.
Rather than what a lot of theater had been before them, which was, this is entertainment.
It's all,
it's hammy, it's big, which...
It's all almost pantomime and facade.
Which still, has its place in certain genres. And, not every, play can be, a modernist drama.
But, no, not every play is going to... Right.
Before that, there was no type of modernist drama, and so after this,
not on the American stage.
Not on the American stage. The Europeans were capable of such despair.
The Swedes had plenty of that.
Well, as we established, Sweden sucked so bad that when Descartes showed up, he was like, "This shit blows. There's no wine," and he just died.
So when you think about it, there's no Eugene O'Neill without Queen Christina of Sweden.
No, exactly. And the fact that Greta Garbo would star in his plays and then go on to play Queen Christina.
I mean,
we're connecting the dots.
Come on. There's
a
narrative through line through all of our episodes.
And it's making sense to me.
Tony Kushner, he finished up that thought about O'Neill's fascination with digging and getting at the truth, that an artist's obligation is to get to the truth even if it destroys him, which is kind of what happened to him. I mean, he, like you said, he sacrificed everything that a person, typically a normal person, holds dear in their life, family, personal connections, marriages, to the pursuit of his art.
Yeah.
And, I don't know.
And his art was great and it was recognized, but I think he definitely gave up a lot on his journey to get there. And I think in some points probably didn't even really understand what it was that he was missing, because his family was always something he was just trying to escape.
Right. Trying to find some...
Trying to take flight.
Trying to take flight.
Flight. Have you seen the movie? Have you seen Flight with Denzel Washington? I
Wait, when were we talking about that?
the other
At Thai food.
at Thai food the other day because I was about to ask you and you were like, "Are you about to ask me if I've seen Flight starring
I
Denzel
said,
Washington?"
well, we were talking about how JFK Jr. died, and
Yeah,
I was like,
and
he
I was
was he was flying that plane, probably drunk, and then we were like laughing, and then you go, "Have you ever seen?" And then I said, "Are you about to ask me if I've ever seen Flight with Denzel Washington?" Do you want to read a scene from one of these plays?
I would love to read a scene. Is it from Flight?
No, it's not from Flight.
I want to do an episode about Denzel Washington.
Oh my
I
god.
swear. I got to talk about Denzel.
Okay, I already said this line earlier,
Okay.
but I'm gonna
Wait,
do
who
it
am I
again in
reading?
character.
Am I Mary?
You're Tyrone. I'm Mary.
I'm Tyrone.
Yes, you have to say, "Mary, for God's sake, forget the past."
Mary, for God's sake, forget the past.
Why? How can I? The past is the present, isn't it? It's the future, too. We all try to lie out of that, but life won't let us. I blame only myself. I swore after Eugene died I would never have another baby. I was to blame for his death. If I hadn't left him with my mother to join you on the road because you wrote telling me you missed me and were so lonely, Jamie would never have been allowed when he still had measles to go in the baby's room. I've always believed Jamie did it on purpose. He was jealous of the baby. He hated him. Oh, I know Jamie was only 7, but he was never stupid. He'd been warned it might kill the baby. He knew. I've never been able to forgive him for that. And then you have to say the next line. Right there.
Where?
Right there.
Are you back with Eugene now? Can't you let our dead baby rest in peace?
It was my fault. I should have insisted on staying with Eugene and not have let you persuade me to join you just because I loved you. Above all, I shouldn't have let you insist I have another baby to take Eugene's place because you thought that would make me forget his death. I knew from experience by then that children should have homes to be born in if they're to be good children, and women need homes if they're to be good mothers. I was afraid all the time I carried Edward. Sorry. Edmund.
It's fine.
Fuck it. I'm not going to get this part. I knew something terrible would happen. I knew I'd proved by the way I'd left Eugene that I wasn't worthy to have another baby and that God would punish me if I did. I never should have born Edmund. And then say that last part. Right there.
Mary, be careful with your talk. If he heard you, he might think you never wanted him. He's feeling bad enough already without...
It's a lie! I did want him more than anything in the world. You don't understand. I meant for his sake. He's never been happy. He never will be, nor healthy. He's been nervous and too sensitive, and that's my fault. And now, ever since he's been so sick, I've kept remembering Eugene and my father, and I've been so frightened and guilty and... Oh, I know it's foolish to imagine dreadful things when there's no reason for it. After all, everyone has colds and gets over them. Because she's convinced herself that all Edmund has is a cold, not tuberculosis.
You kind of ate my ass up in that scene.
Thank you.
I think you're gonna get the part. I don't think I'm getting.
You guys, who do you think is gonna get cast? Do you think I have a shot? I'm Mary Tyrone. You guys.
Do you guys think I'm gonna be James Tyrone?
Even traveling with you season after season, trains without Pullmans, eating bad food in dirty hotel rooms, bearing children in hotel rooms. I stayed healthy. But bearing Edmund was the last straw. I was so sick afterward, and that cheap quack of an ignorant hotel doctor, all he knew was I was in pain, and it was easy enough for him to stop the pain.
Shit, that's crazy. That was really good.
Well, if you like what you saw today in this exhausting Irish episode.
It was very Irish, and it was very sad.
I hope we don't lose any followers because you guys indulged me in my obsession with Eugene O'Neill.
No, I'm really glad that we talked about him because I did not know who he was, but then I was like, wait, no, I do know who this guy is.
His work...
And I'm glad now that I know his life was the saddest place.
His plays are so fucking good and so fucking sad, but they will make you understand yourself and the people you love deeper, I think.
Aww.
I always think about Lloyd Richards, the famous theater director, and because he says, what does it cost to be an artist? Like, that was what O'Neill's question.
Yeah.
Like, that's the question you're confronted with when you go to O'Neill's work.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer for O'Neill was like everything. So,
yeah.
Can't
explain all the people who do it and don't lose everything.
Yeah.
I feel
Well,
like it's only men who do shit like this, but
If you,
if that's what they like.
if that's what you want to do,
If that's what you want to do, let your flag fly.
I like to crochet. He likes to write so much until he has Parkinson's and dies.
And abandon children.
Yeah.
Abandon
And
his children.
drives all of his children to alcoholism or
And
suicide.
which is a testament, really, to his parenting or non-parenting.
If you enjoyed what you saw in this episode, you can follow us.
Give us a follow.
That's history, babe.
That's history, babe, on all channels. And we keep saying this.
But the Patreon is coming.
The Patreon is coming
It's
genuinely
coming.
now that there are a decent amount of you. If you want to see more of us.
You guys, do you know what happened?
can.
We tried to shoot a Patreon episode last week, but we tried to do it on an iPhone because Claudia was out of town and had the camera with her.
Yeah, Claudia's not here today, as you've noticed.
And we talked for an hour without knowing that it had stopped recording on my iPhone because we ran out of storage.
So we just gave up.
So we just gave up. We just
So-
said, fuck it.
Don't worry, we're gonna try again. But we had to call it.
We had to call it that night. It was 11:30.
We were like, fuck this.
I was so hot and so furious.
Yeah, no one was happy. We were
Anyway.
watching a movie with these lights on. Get these lights off.
Follow us on YouTube also, or subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Follow me on YouTube.
Follow me
Give
on
me a
YouTube.
like on the YouTube.
Be my YouTube friend. Anyone want to poke me on YouTube?
Will you guys be our YouTube friends?
Please be our YouTube friends. We love you. Okay, I'm Jared.
I'm Abe.
And that's history, babe. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.